The Baltimore Ravens are standing at a crossroads. On one side, the promise of a long-awaited breakthrough. On the other, the looming specter of another crushing disappointment. For years, the Ravens have done everything they could to support Lamar Jackson. They built a strong roster, they changed coaching staffs, they surrounded him with new weapons. But despite all of it, the one thing that matters most, postseason success, continues to elude them. Regular season dominance, Lamar has mastered that. 2 MVPs, over 4,100 passing yards, and 41 total touchdowns last season alone. Add in nearly 1,000 rushing yards, and he's essentially 2 players in one. Yet in the playoffs, it's a different story. Jackson is 3-5, with 11 turnovers and a growing reputation for falling short when it matters most. But the blame doesn't rest solely on Lamar's shoulders. For years, Baltimore's front office was criticized for failing to give him a proper, supporting cast, particularly at wide receiver. That criticism no longer applies. Today, the Ravens boast one of the most balanced and dynamic offenses in the league. Zay Flowers is the explosive young star who can change a defense's alignment with a single snap. His absence in the playoff loss to Buffalo was a silent factor few recognized, but it mattered. Then there's Rashad Bateman, who has battled injuries but remains a dangerous target when healthy. Throw in veteran DeAndre Hopkins, no longer the dominant WR one of his Houston days, but as a secondary or tertiary option. He adds terrifying depth. Combined with tight ends Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, this offense finally has the variety and skill to go toe-to-toe with any defense in the league. What's different now isn't just talent, it's cohesion. The Ravens are no longer relying on Lamar to play superhero every week. The burden is shared, and that shift raises the stakes. There are no excuses left. The pieces are in place. Which brings us to the most intriguing addition of the offseason, Derrick Henry. For a team that struggled to close in the postseason, Baltimore didn't just add a running back, they brought in a sledgehammer. Henry isn't a finesse back, he's a postseason weapon. A 4-time Pro Bowler, a league leader in rushing yards and touchdowns, and a player built for cold weather playoff games. Last season alone, he rushed for nearly 2,000 yards and tied for the NFL lead with 16 touchdowns. Henry gives the Ravens something they've long lacked, a physical identity that doesn't fade when the stakes get high. He doesn't need to break off 60-yard runs. He needs to wear defenses down, control the clock, and give Lamar breathing room. In January football, that's gold. Of course, Henry isn't alone. Baltimore's backfield is deeper than it looks. The combination of Henry's power and change of pace backs behind him gives the Ravens a flexible, unpredictable run game. That kind of versatility not only extends drives but also helps Lamar stay upright. And that's when he's most dangerous. Credit also goes to Todd Monken, whose arrival last season marked a turning point in Lamar's career. Unlike his predecessor, Greg Roman, who kept the offense conservative and run-heavy, Monken opened things up. He spread the field, attacked vertically, and gave Lamar more control at the line of scrimmage. That trust changed everything. Under Monken, Lamar looked like a complete quarterback, capable of beating defenses with his mind as well as his legs. But that freedom came with risk. The triple coverage interception against the Chiefs wasn't about play design. It was a high-stakes decision gone wrong. Still, Monken's system gave Baltimore something they sorely needed, a modern offense that could go shot for shot with the league's best. But as good as the offense has looked on paper, the Ravens' true foundation remains their defense. And last year, it told 2 very different stories. For the first 10 weeks, the secondary was a mess, giving up nearly 300 passing yards per game, dead last in the league. But then everything changed. From Week 11 on, Baltimore's defense became a wall, allowing just 171 passing yards per game, the best mark in the NFL over that span. The transformation was stunning, and at the heart of it was new defensive coordinator Zach Orr. Orr didn't just tweak the system, he reinvented how the unit communicated and adapted in real time. His leadership revitalized the defense, and no one embodied that more than safety Kyle Hamilton. Fast, instinctive, and incredibly versatile, Hamilton was the linchpin, and now, with first-round pick Malachi Starks joining him in the secondary, Baltimore might have the most athletic and intelligent safety duo in football. Starks, a star at Georgia, brings speed and anticipation that can erase mistakes before they become problems. Up front, the Ravens doubled down by drafting Mike Green, a pass rusher with 17 college sacks. While raw, his upside could solve the team's long-standing edge rush dilemma. Add in cornerback Nate Wiggins and veteran Chidobe Awuzie, and it's clear Baltimore didn't just patch holes. They made calculated moves to create a unit that can dominate deep into January. The roster is loaded, the schemes are modern, the stars are aligned. But now comes the hard part, delivering. If Lamar Jackson can finally silence the playoff whispers and John Harbaugh can lead this group to a title, it might mark the beginning of a dynasty. If not, the window could slam shut sooner than anyone expects. While the Ravens' defense made remarkable strides last season, their Super Bowl hopes will hinge on whether they can consistently generate pressure without relying on the blitz. In today's NFL, elite playoff quarterbacks pick apart heavy blitz schemes. That's why Baltimore's investment in its front seven, particularly through the draft, could be the difference between another postseason letdown and finally breaking through. Mike Green, their second-round pick, is a name to watch. He dominated at the college level with 17 sacks, and while he still needs refinement, the raw tools are there: bend, burst, and relentless motor. If Green develops into a true edge threat, Baltimore's defense won't just be solid, it will be terrifying. Pair him with veteran anchors like Roquan Smith and a still-effective Justin Matabuek, and the Ravens can collapse pockets without sacrificing coverage on the back end. That's the formula that wins in January. But even the best-laid plans depend on one critical element: health. Injuries have haunted this team in recent years, often at the worst possible time. Rashad Bateman has missed key games. Mark Andrews wasn't fully healthy last postseason, and even Lamar himself has battled late-season wear and tear. For this team to meet its potential, they can't just be good, they have to be durable. With the depth they've built, Baltimore can withstand a few dings. But another rash of injuries to key players? That could derail everything. And then there's the intangible pressure, something this franchise has quietly carried for years. John Harbaugh is one of the most respected coaches in the league, but his last Super Bowl ring is now over a decade old. The narrative is shifting. Fair or not, whispers are growing louder. Can he still get it done in the modern NFL? Is he maximizing what he has with Lamar Jackson? That pressure isn't just external. It lives inside the building. Everyone in that locker room knows the stakes. This roster isn't built for patience. It's built to win now. The AFC won't make that easy. Kansas City remains the gold standard. Cincinnati is always dangerous. Buffalo, Miami, and even Houston are rising threats. There are no easy paths, no soft matchups. Every playoff game will be a war. And that's what makes this version of the Ravens so intriguing. Because for the first time in years, they have a team that can win in any style. They can ground and pound with Henry. They can air it out with Lamar. They can win 35-31 or 17-13. That kind of versatility is rare, and it's exactly what you need when the margins are razor thin. Still, no amount of talent can guarantee postseason success. The ghosts of previous playoff failures will hang over this team until they prove otherwise. The loss to the Bills, the turnover-filled collapse against the Titans, the heartbreak against the Chiefs. All of it still lingers, but those moments also harden teams. They teach lessons, and this roster, deep, seasoned, and finally complete, looks ready to write a different ending. So the question isn't whether the Ravens can win it all, it's whether they'll do it now. Because everything, Lamar's legacy, Harbaugh's standing, and the future of this Super Bowl window, depends on it. Is this the season Baltimore breaks the cycle? Or will another promising year end in frustration? Time will tell. But one thing is certain: the Ravens have never been more equipped to answer the call.